I'm seeing a lot of, and look, I know EJ is a UK channel, so I don't mean all UK channels, but I see a lot of UK channels that are just angry and extremely upset, that Andy Ruiz isn't just bowing down and doing whatever Eddie Hearn tells him to do. All right? Well, you guys are just going to have to live with it. All right? Don't be mad, okay, at Andy Ruiz because he's flexing that unified belt muscle, okay? Because he's dangling over the head of AJ that ass beating he gave him, right, a couple months ago. Blame the person he should be blaming is actually Joshua. It's Joshua's fault he's in this position, okay? If Joshua didn't take an ass beating, we wouldn't be going through this, right? If Joshua didn't get beat as bad as he did, okay, he wouldn't be giving Andy Ruiz so much leverage. So you guys just have to live with that beating that he gave him, all right? And I saw, they're going to go unnamed, okay, but I saw a channel just yesterday talk about how they're tired of Andy Ruiz, and they hope that he doesn't get another payday, and they hope that Matchroom sues him. You go ahead, you go sue Andy Ruiz, see what happens in court, all right? Because the last time a fighter tried to sue somebody for something like this, the fighter didn't get 100% of what they wanted, man. All right. The closest case to this is Rockman versus Lewis. Now, Lewis wasn't demanding, all this crap, that Eddie Hearn is demanding. All right. Like the only thing Lennox Lewis wanted, okay, was a rematch. That's all he wanted. He didn't want anything else. He just wanted him back in the ring. Like, dude, I'll fight you in your country. We'll practically give you 50-50. And Rockman was like, nah, because Rockman knew that was a lucky punch. Okay? Rockman knew he got very fortunate, okay, in that win. In the end, the judge said, either you like enough of this. Rematch him or sit out for 18 months. Okay? Andy Ruiz has, he's got 18 months. All right? Andy Ruiz sat out when he was broke. He's got millions of dollars now. All right? You don't think he could sit out? He'll sit out. All right? And that is worst case scenario. Ruiz isn't saying, I won't fight you. He's just saying, if you want me to go to the UK, you're going to have to pay me more than what you're offering. If you want me to go to Saudi Arabia, obviously, first of all, they can't force him to go to Saudi Arabia. All right? It's in the list of countries that American citizens are told or recommended not to go to. No judge in his right mind is going to look at that contract. Okay, like, oh, let me look at this. You have to go to Saudi Arabia. Okay, no, it ain't going to happen. Okay, no judge in his right mind is going to tell him that. Okay, it just isn't going to happen. Right? It just isn't. And honestly, I've been looking at the Ali Act the last couple of days. The reason the Ali Act passed was because of coercive contracts, okay? And I'm telling you, man, this is flirting with that territory, right? They have a case. Andy Ruiz wouldn't be saying no to all these terms if he didn't feel he had a case, right? He's got a case. That's it, right? Does anybody have a counter argument here? Well,
Nah. What's up, D Styles? BFTB, man.
What's going on, man?
So I don't have a counter. I have a caveat.
Okay.
Caveat. See, people keep going to thinking that we either need to they need to break out of a contract or need to do or they're going to get sued and blah blah blah. People think Al Heyman is that fucking dumb. Like, bro, he's not. Listen, if you go back and look at what Anthony Joshua said, he said, I was so confident I was going to beat Ruiz. I didn't even know if there was a rematch in there. Right? That's what he said. I was so confident I was going to beat him. I didn't even know if there was a rematch in there. So if you didn't know, mind you now, Eddie Hearn has already come out and said Anthony Joshua is the man. He's the guy that signs this. He's the guy that signs that. He looks at these things and looks at these things. If you didn't know if there was a rematch in there, what makes anybody think that the location was locked in for the rematch? No, I'm telling, bro. Why do you? So people look at this and say, "Oh, it's going to be sued, blah blah blah." Now, like my brother D Style said, first off, if Andy Ruiz doesn't fight, so Andy Ruiz never said that he would not do a rematch. So what are you suing him for? You know what I'm saying? What grounds do you have to sue the man for? He said he will do the rematch. He has never had no problem with a rematch yet. So you have no grounds to sue the man. You have no grounds. What are you suing him on? He said he would do it. You know what I'm saying? That's number one. You know what I'm saying? That's number one. Number two, you know what I'm saying? If the location was in the contract, if the location was in there, then best believe that Eddie Hearn would have came out and said this. If you remember, when he had the information about Luis Ortiz, how long did it take him to tell the world that he offered Luis Ortiz $7 million? 1 day. 1 day. It was 1 day when Ortiz was like, nah, fuck that, I want more money. 1 day later, he was like, here's the text showing all the proof that it was the $7 million that they offered him. Has anybody seen the contract or any piece of the contract from Eddie Hearn saying that the location is locked in? No, because it's not. Right now, the third piece is, if again, remember, Eddie Hearn said Anthony Joshua is the man. He runs this thing. You know, it's going to be him. Anthony Joshua needs to make a decision. Blah blah blah. Yada yada yada. Right, y'all. I know everybody remembers Eddie Hearn saying this. If you don't, I can show you the articles. You know what I'm saying? Right after that, Anthony Joshua came out saying, "I'm going to fight like hell to get this fight in Cardiff." That's what the man said. Right? So if Anthony Joshua is the boss and Anthony Joshua runs all this and he's going to fight like hell to get the fight back in Cardiff, why the fuck are they talking about Saudi Arabia? He didn't say anything about Saudi Arabia. He said Cardiff. He said, I want it in Cardiff so that I can have my 60, 70, 80,000 fans screaming to get me over the hump. Those are his words, not mine. Those are Joshua's words. Now, all of this shit that everybody is shitting on Andy Ruiz because Andy Ruiz was a cherry pick gone wrong. Plain and simple. They tried to cherry pick that man because they thought that he aligned up with Jarrell Miller's sloppy ass. They thought he was around the same size, the same height, same hand speed, which he doesn't. He's a way harder puncher, you know what I'm saying? A way better boxer, period. Point blank. The man's got, 105, 110, some shit like that, amateur fights. He ain't no bum, and he arguably beat Joe Parker. I had him winning that fight. But they tried to cherry pick this man on 5 weeks' notice, and he whipped his ass. Plain and simple. Like my brother D-Style said, if anybody is to blame, it's Anthony Joshua. He lost. Andy Ruiz came in on 5 weeks' notice. You know what I'm saying? And like I said in my live the other day, if Anthony Joshua, the man of his word, you know what I'm saying, he'd be fighting Andy Ruiz September 14th, the Mexican Independence holiday weekend, which is in 5 weeks from now. He's been in training. You see his ass in training. You see him doing all the training videos. You have no excuse, bro. None. No excuse at all. The man came out after the fight and said a ring is a ring is a ring. Those are Joshua's words. A ring is a ring is a ring. He came out and said he wants to right the wrong where the wrong happened. Well, that's Madison Square Garden, buddy. And 5 weeks from now is Mexican Independent Holiday. Canelo ain't fighting on that date. What's the problem? What is the problem? You can fight September 14th, Saturday, September 14th. That's 5 weeks from now. It's well within the contract. If Andy Ruiz decides to sit out, you know what's going to happen to him? Not a damn thing. He'll lose the IBF title. And he might not even do that. All he has to do is fight Pulev. If he fights Pulev, what happens to him? Nothing. Not a damn thing. Sue him all you want because that man did not turn down the motherfucking contract, the fight. He did not turn it down. He just said, I ain't going there for it. And as the damn champion, he deserves to have the fight where the fuck he wants. That's what everybody was shitting on Deontay Wilder for the longest. Oh, Anthony Joshua's the man. No, you got to come to him. Well, Andy Ruiz is the goddamn man. And get your punk ass up and go where the fuck he wants you to.
Hey, by
the way, I saw an angry ass channel the other day.
Yo, real quick, let me jump in.
Introduce yourself, Phil. Go ahead.
What's up, man? This Phil Walker. Look, check this out, man. So I agree with some of the stuff you just said, brother, but I disagree. See, Anthony Joshua, Andy Ruiz, right? This fight everybody talking about, right? It can't happen. What people are doing, they're saying, well, Andy Ruiz is not turning down the fight, okay? And that's a fact. But what Andy Ruiz is doing is turning down the contract that lets the fight happen. So it's two different things, okay? So when you're sitting here, you're saying, well, what you gonna sue him for? Well, anything that's a breach of contract, you can be sued for. Now, whether you're gonna win, that's a different case or not. But you can take him to court if it's a breach of contract. Now, about the location and all the other stuff, I have no idea what's in the contract. But if that's in the contract, but in the case that, let's just say, Eddie Hearn says, hey, you know, in the rematch, you get this set amount of money. If that's in the contract, then guess what? If Andy Ruiz is saying, hey, you know what? I want more money than what's in that contract. Then they can go back and renegotiate it because Andy Ruiz does have bargaining power. But at the end of the day, anything that's in the contract that Andy Ruiz does not sign to, you can be sued for it. Now, your other option is that you just don't deal with the contract at all. Then that's going down a whole nother road. But because he does want to have the fight, okay, they just need to go back in and renegotiate the terms. Because at the end of the day, he still has the belt. And the belts is what Matchroom, Eddie Hearn, and Anthony Joshua won. Because that's been their bargaining chip for the longest. It was their bargaining chips against Deontay Wilder. It's been their bargaining chips against everybody since Anthony Joshua has become the champion. You understand what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I don't want people to get the two confused. Andy Ruiz is not turning down the fight, but he is turning down the contract.
Let me counter that really quick. First of all, did you not hear what I said? Okay, I say it clearly. I said a judge will not look at the contract and say, yeah, you got to fight in Saudi Arabia. It's not going to happen, bro. It's on the list of recommended countries not to.
Hold on, brother. You're not listening to what I'm saying. You're not listening to what I'm saying.
So he didn't get sued for it, but they can't enforce that.
Hold on. I just spoke about the location. I said, now, whether the location was already in the contract or not, I don't know. I haven't seen the contract. Now, as far as the location goes, look, if you don't want to fight in another country, that's on you. That's your business. But at the end of the day, if in the contract it says that Matchroom dictates all the terms, I don't know if that's in there or not.
Right,
okay?
right. Dude, law supersedes the contract, bro. Law supersedes the contract. That
hold on, bro.
My point that they can't force Saudi Arabia.
Let me finish.
Address that point.
Now, okay, let me finish. Thank you. So, if in the contract it says that Matchroom and Eddie Hearn dictate all the terms, okay, and Andy Ruiz says, okay, well, look, I don't agree with the terms. Now, the fight in Saudi Arabia. Now, if a judge looks at that and says, hey, we can't, he can't go to Saudi Arabia. That's a different case. That's a different case. But let's just say that Eddie Hearn say, well, all right, screw it. We're going to have a fight in the UK. What's your excuse for not going to the UK? That's not on the list of banned countries. You understand what I'm saying?
He's already announced it in Saudi Arabia.
So so that's just where I'm coming from.
The excuse for not going into the UK is because of UConn and all their funky shit. Did you not? Who is this talking? Who is this guy talking anyways? Who is this guy?
Hey, hold on.
Bro, I'm Phil Walker. Who are you? Who are you?
Yeah. Hey, what's up, y'all?
Everybody knows who Blood is, bro. Nobody knows who you are.
Shit. He's not going to fight in Saudi Arabia because Saudi Arabia is too violent. They don't like Americans over there. Okay? And he's not going to fight in the UK because Dillian White just got through cheating and Rivas was not informed that Dillian White was dirty. So no, he don't have to do that. He's going to break the contract like he's supposed to do.
What's up, Blood? Let me say this. Al Heyman already knows what he's doing, bro. Okay, look, it's Eddie already promised his fight to the Saudi Arabians. He already promised it to the Saudis, bro. He can't like all of it. Oh, psych, it's gonna go to the UK now. No, like he's already given that up. He's already said this is the neutral ground. It's Saudi Arabia, right? If they go to court, that's gonna be presented in front of a judge. Okay, and no judge, because law supersedes any contract. Okay, like you could sign a contract saying, "Oh, if I don't pay you back, you could murder me in cold blood," and I could sign that. You can't enforce that. It's not like, "Oh yeah, you could totally murder him because he signed it," right? Now that's an extreme example, just to make a point. You can't, dude. Like this guy could go to Saudi Arabia. How does he know he doesn't show up and they tell him, "Hey, Andy, if you want to go back home, you got to lose this fight." And he's in a foreign country. Okay, known to be a very violent country, by the way, that murdered a reporter from the U.S. Like, you really think he wants to go over there? No. Now, your counter, it was pretty simple-minded. You said, well, what if they just say it's in the U.K.? Well, they can't do that now. He already made a poster. He's already done a press conference. Okay, he's already in bed with the Saudis for this fight. Eddie Hearn, okay, already buried himself here, man, 6 feet. He already fucked himself over.
So here's my thing. I'm going to give it back to you, brother. I'm going to give it back to you. I promise. I'm going to give it back to you. I want to make one point. I'm going to give it back to you. All right? So here's my thing. Everybody is continually talking about and this and that and yada, yada, yada. The bottom line is sue him for what? And guess what? So you're going to say you're going to sue him. Okay. And then what? He's still going to be the champion. The outcome, the verdict of being sued is not going to be Andy Ruiz loses his belts. It's not going to happen, bro. The worst thing that'll happen is if he does lose the case, he'll lose money. That's the worst thing that'll happen. He'll still be the champion. He'll make that money up in his very next fight. Nothing is going to happen to this man. Nothing. These people, that if the suing thing is a cop-out, bro. It's an absolute cop-out because Anthony Joshua already said a ring is a ring is a ring. He already said he wants to right the wrong where the wrong happened, which is Madison Square Garden. He's already said this. Everything else he's saying right now is reneging. Now, if they were to sue him, who is going to lose in this case? Anthony Joshua, bro, because they need to fight. The fight needs to happen on or before December 7th, or all bets are off. The IBF is going to strip him of the title, or they're going to force him to fight Pulev. On or before December 7th, they must fight, it's all bets are off. So if they sue him, the only person that is losing here is Anthony Joshua, because that means he is not going to fight before December 7th, right? So he ain't going to get his rematch, and it's not like the rematch is set in stone where Andy Ruiz can just fight a whole bunch of people, and whenever Anthony Joshua wants to have a rematch, then he can have a rematch. No, that rematch has to be next, bro. If he don't fight him next, then that's it. He ain't getting one. He has to fight his way back up. So there, all this bluster, all this nonsense talking about a suing. Andy Ruiz knows he's the A side. He knows he's in a position of power, which is the reason why he ain't saying anything. And the only thing that he is saying is, okay, you guys are doing a lot of talking. Keep talking. When y'all ready to fight the U.S., I'll be ready. When you're ready to fight Mexico, I'll be ready. All this talking y'all doing ain't nothing. You can have you can do as many posters as you want. You can say tomorrow's going to be in Rabia. You can do tomorrow's going to be in Libya. Next week it'll be in motherfucking Iraq. Do what you want, bro. It don't matter. Now, if you want to sue me, have at it. Have at suing. Have at it, bro. Guess what?
Can I jump in? Hold on, D-Sal. Can I jump in real quickly? Yeah, let me jump in. Yeah, I've been quiet for a while, man. Hey, what's up, y'all? What's up, Blood? What's up, BFT? What's up, D-Style, EJ? I know Phil was in for a second.
I will fight him in Tijuana.
Yeah. Now, let me just say this real quickly here. First things first, I got to say one thing. Based off what I'm hearing about this whole contract, the breach of contract situation, what I get from this is that it seems to me that Eddie Hearn is implying that he's already drafted a contract before the fight between Joshua and Ruiz, the first fight had ever happened. And I'm thinking to myself, like, wait a minute, I never heard of a new contract being drafted in case another fighter loses his fight. Has that ever happened before, where the other fighter have to sign that other contract just in case he wins that fight? Has anybody ever heard of that? Because the reason why I asked this question, because rematch clauses are put into original contracts. I get that. What people don't understand is that when a rematch clause gets invoked, a new contract gets drafted. So I don't know why people are running around saying, oh, it's to the contract that Ruiz got to go to Saudi Arabia. How do you know that? Because people don't know the details. They're not privy to that. And the reason, again, I say that is because rematch contracts always get renegotiated. It's a brand new contract.
Facts.
And I believe, what's up?
I said facts.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Yeah. What I also have to say is that I believe Andy Ruiz's team, along with Al Heyman, saw a lot of holes in an original contract, which could possibly have violated the Muhammad Ali Act. That's probably why they're actually having leverage here. D-Style and I were talking about that the other day. He could be right. And another thing about Hearn talking about we're going to sue for breach of contract. Why hasn't he done that yet? Why has he hesitated? Because Al Heyman will welcome it. He's like, okay, go ahead and sue us. You see what's going to happen to.
I said the same thing, man. I said the same thing. What's the holdup? If you're going to sue, why wait until Anthony Ruiz has to worry about fighting Pulev or get stripped to the IBF? Why not sue now? The man already said he ain't going. So you already know.
Yeah, let me get on to the IBF real quickly. Yeah.
Be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. All you channels saying, I really hope Eddie Hearn. I hope he sues Andy Ruiz. Be careful what you wish for. You just might get it.
You may get it. But here's the thing. Another thing about the IBF. Here's the one thing I may have seen too, and I think this is a strategy I heard. And call me cynical on this one, man. I think they're trying to get Ruiz to purposely sit out. And what I mean by that is that when he sits out, the IBF is going to strip him. And once the IBF strips him, guess who gets to fight for the vacant title? Not only Kubrat Pulev, I think Anthony Joshua gets to fight for that title too. The reason why I say that is because he's ranked highly by the IBF. I think he's ranked number 2 and number 3. If Pulev is the mandatory.
Oh, he's 6.
He's 6? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the IBF probably could not. I mean, they could possibly still mandate it because that's within their discretion. I'm just saying it's possible. That's probably another strategy they're going with. That just me coming. Just me. Just pretty much just think. What's the word I'm looking for? Damn, I lost my train of thought. It's just a theory. It's just a theory. Yeah, it's just a theory. But what's up?
He'd lose out that way. That's a very bad way to go for Joshua.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. I disagree. I think that's a bad way of doing it. I mean, to me, they're going to get ridiculed for that. It's like, you guys purposely dragged this out so you was hoping Ruiz to get stripped one of the titles so you don't have to fight him again. No, you can't win that fight. Let's be real. Anthony Joshua cannot out punch Andy Ruiz. That's not going to happen. He doesn't have the hand speed to do it. That's not going to happen. So I can't see how he can make these many adjustments where he can fight off the back, which Joshua cannot do very well. How can he fight off the ropes, which he cannot do very well? He can't. How is he going to learn upper lateral movement in 4 or 3 months? That's not going to happen. I just can't see.
They want to see him sue Andy Ruiz. They don't actually want to make this fight happen. Right? This is why.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I have reason to really believe that they don't really want the fight. I'm listening to Joshua's interviews, man. He's like all over the place. I don't know what the hell is he talking about. Calling to us a clown.
Tijuana.
Yeah, I'll fight him in Tijuana. The next day gets announced in Saudi Arabia. He doesn't show up for the first presser, which is very bizarre to me. And D-Style, you and I talked about this on my live stream the other day. I just don't think, honestly, that fight will happen in Saudi Arabia, to be honest with you, because there's no reassurances it will happen. So now
it is possible that Andy's just trying to get more money, right? But we'll see. If he gets more money, it'll probably happen in Saudi Arabia. But we will see.
Right. And another thing too, I was going to add too is him in his interviews. He's all over the place here. He's talking about Ruiz caught me with a lucky punch. I'm like, well, goddamn, 4 lucky punches must have put your ass down, then, right? I mean, seriously, how are you going to get caught with 4 lucky punches? If you're going to get caught with 4 lucky punches.
Let me tell you something. Luck happens, but it never rains luck. Okay?
Yeah,
That dude was raining punches on him, bro. Right?
Yeah.
Multiple times, not just once.
It doesn't. That's a D-Style line. It doesn't. It never rains. Okay?
Right.
It's time you getting some feedback. Hey, Blood, you had some stuff in the background. You was showing off about Saudi Arabia, about Ethiopians being in trouble and all kinds of things. Go ahead. What was that about, Blood?
Yeah, I had pointed out that Saudi Arabia is not a good place for Andy Ruiz. There's all kind of violence going on over there right now. There's all kind of militant groups over there doing all kind of weird stuff. Not only that, but you can't drink over there. You can't enjoy the fight really like the traditional way. Why should Andy Ruiz subject himself to all of that? Go to a place where there's all kind of violence, bombings going on. I know that we have violence in students here, and there's violence in Mexico. There's violence everywhere, but Andy Ruiz is more familiar with America. He's more familiar with Mexico. He's the champion now. Neither one of them are from Saudi Arabia, so there's no point in them going over there. I don't know who that clown was on that you had on earlier. That was you notice his ass bounced up out of here because.
Nah, I'm here, homie. Yo, big dog, I'm here. Watch your fucking mouth too.
Okay. By the way, man, like I don't know who Phil Walker is, but
hold up.
He asked, "Who are you?" Like you don't know what blood is, bro. Chill.
Hold up.
All right?
Nah, he don't know who the fuck I am. He the one came in here just.
No one knows who you are.
Yeah, I did this.
So again,
you up here question.
like I was
what happened in the Saudi Arabia future contract. You sound like you're from America.
Listen, you're not listening though. You're not listening. I didn't say that. So let me repeat myself again. What I said was Ruiz. And first of all, let me put it to you like this. I picked Andy Ruiz to win the first fight. Okay. Now, with that being said, I think he will win the second fight. Okay. Now, move on to what we're discussing right now. I said Andy Ruiz is not turning down the fight. What he is turning down is the contract. Now, Eddie Hearn and them can too if they want to. That's exactly what I said. Now, whether they take it to court and win or not is a totally different scenario. Okay? So I don't know what the fuck y'all hear, what words y'all want to hear, and then y'all just take it and run with it. Y'all too angry on the chat for whatever reason. I don't know if y'all invested in
you're angry right now, but go ahead.
At the end of the day, because you can't make it wrong, homie. That's why.
Okay. I'll put you on mute for a minute. Let Blood respond and no interrupts. Go ahead, Blood. Respond.
I'm not done though, EJ.
Okay, go ahead. Go.
Again, so like I was saying, okay? At the end of the day, Andy Ruiz is not turning down the fight. Like I said, Andy Ruiz has the leverage because he has the belt. Okay? And must I add, I also said that, yeah, Eddie Hearn, he can do, but now if he takes it to court, whether he win or not, that's a totally different conversation. Okay? At the end of the day, I said Andy Ruiz has the leverage. So I don't know, either y'all listening or I don't know what the confusion is. So, I mean, sound like we agree on more stuff than we disagree with. But,
okay, I'm sorry about that, brother. How's about that? Okay.
So I don't know if y'all listening or what. So, but go ahead.
Yep. Okay. All right. Go ahead, Blood. Say what you said.
Okay. Listen, Saudi Arabia is out of the question. Like I said before, the reason why I showed that is because there's all kind of stuff, and not only that, there's a bunch of hate against Americans. Andy Ruiz is American. Anthony Joshua is not from Saudi Arabia. Neither is Andy Ruiz. So there's no point in having a fight there where it's not even a fighting country. They don't even have, you can't even have ring card girls and stuff like that. They're against women showing their body and stuff. Nobody wants to be subject to that in a boxing match. That's unheard of. So I don't know what makes Eddie Hearn want to put the fight on over there because, in my opinion, I think that Eddie Hearn built some relationships with some people over there to where he could cheat and where he could do A, B, and C. If Andy Ruiz goes over there and we hear later that, there was some problem with the gloves or something, I don't want to hear it later. That's why I'm telling Andy Ruiz, don't go over there because if you get knocked out over there, I don't want to hear no excuse about, they did A, B, and C and they did. Joshua Wood skipped out on the post-fight test and they're telling them what they got brewed up over there. If the fight is going to happen, it needs to happen either in America. It doesn't have to happen in Mexico because Mexico would probably be too pro. Bring it back into New York, man. I mean, the guy said he wanted to conquer America, so here's his chance to conquer America. I think that if they're going to have a neutral ground, it should be somewhere else, not Saudi Arabia, not the Middle East. Don't send no Americans over to the Middle East right now. Nowhere over there.
Hey, that's the
neutral grounds. Take it somewhere like Manila, Japan, something like that. You know what I'm saying? That would make more sense. Mike Tyson had a fight in Tokyo. Somewhere like that, not to the Middle East. I think that's just out of the question. And because Eddie Hearn is even pulling this, it makes me think that he's up to no good because all he does to us is lie from day one, lie after lie after lie after lie. And then it's off as far as the UK. No, he's not going over there with all this shit that happened with UCAD and Dillian White. They haven't even looked at the beat sample. Okay, they're still lollygagging around with the beat sample. Now they're saying they might not even test the beat sample. So no, it's out of the question to go over to the UK. No fighter should be going over to the UK. So they need to come to terms. It needs to be behind the scenes. I don't care what they get paid. Just let the fight happen. Bring the fight back over here where it belongs. It belongs here in America. If he really wants to correct his mistake, he does it over here in America, similar to what Lennox Lewis did with Oliver McCall. He brought it over here. He beat Oliver McCall in his country. If he really wants to start his conquering of America, he could do it by redeeming that loss to Ruiz right in the same place he lost. He said it himself. Now he changes his mind because originally he said that, hey, I want to come back and win the title back where I lost it and redeem myself. Then Eddie Hearn went on his little, promotional tour where he goes around. And by the way, that press conference, none of us boxing fans have ever seen anything like that. You go to a press conference without the fighters, okay? Ever. I've never heard of a press conference without the fighters. That's the Eddie Hearn promotional stunt. That was for Eddie Hearn. His purpose for doing that was total. I can't even explain it because it's so stupid to bring Saudi Arabia in this and have some stupid presser over there without Andy Ruiz's consent and shit. Even Joshua wasn't over there. So they're just doing a lot of foul business with Matchroom. And I think that it would be better to bring the fight back to America where we know that Andy Ruiz would have a fair chance because Eddie Hearn is just pulling too much stuff. His fighters are cheating. They're coming up. Fighters are getting exemptions. All kind of stuff is going on, man. It's just too much out there. So the contract does need to be broken. It does need to be, and like Dan the Man said, I guess there ain't even they have to draw up a whole new contract anyway.
That's correct.
Yeah, they do. That's right.
Yeah, that's my point. I just don't think there was a second contract. They're renegotiating it right now. They're trying to get that together. That's what people don't understand. What people are believe, because they believe everything Eddie Hearn says, is that, look, there never was a rematch contract that ever was drafted before the Ruiz and Joshua first fight. I never heard anything like that before. Because the only thing that's inserted in the initial contract is that we have to exercise a rematch clause. Once that fight, Joshua, in this instance, exercises that clause, then a new contract gets written. It's always been that way. So I don't understand how people can say, oh, it's in the contract. This is a contract that Hearn can do this and that and the third. I was like, really? Tell me, are you privy to that information? Send me a draft of that contract so I can look at it. How do you know all this? That's why I question people.
Eddie Hearn fans that are doing that, though. They've been saying stupid ever since this whole thing started. These are the same guys who said stuff like, he done it in 20 fights and can't talk about no other era in boxing. Can't name nobody that he dodged. It's ridiculous, man.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to get into that, dude. I was going to say one thing. Anybody who's outside the chat, who's looking at the stream right now, if y'all want to debate Anthony Joshua Lennox Lewis' resume, go ahead. Because y'all asses is going to get murdered on that one. Because I'm going to say this right now. Don't ever try to compare Anthony Joshua to fucking Lennox Lewis. Because he's got ways to go to fill those fucking boots. Lennox Lewis actually dominated and cleaned out his division. He was the last man standing in the 90s, in the early 2000s, when he actually beat a prime Vitaly Klitschko in his prime in his last fight. So don't compare the two. All right, I don't want to hear this shit about he did more than this in 15, 6, 22 fights. Okay, look who Joshua fought compared to who Lennox Lewis fought to get to those belts when he unified. Look who he fought. You compare those guys that he fought to the likes of who Joshua fought, Parker and Martin, Brazil. I mean, they're not bad fighters, but compare those guys to like the Ray Mercer, the Shannon Briggs, and Evander Holyfields, the Mike Tysons, Vitaly Klitschko's, Hasim Rockman, David Tua. I mean, let me stop, man. Let me stop. I mean, let me stop. Right.
We're going to be here all day. We don't stop it, but
yeah, I can say this all day. But my whole point is I don't understand.
Go ahead, real quick, okay? To Phil Walker's point, okay, he's just making a point that Matchroom can sue, right? And whether he wins or he doesn't, fair enough, okay. So I got your point, but I will say that I always like to do the even if, okay. So even if, right? Because I know you guys are saying maybe it's not in the contract. Look, even if it has it on the contract that we get to pick where the fight's going to happen. Since he decided to pick Saudi Arabia, he's already screwed himself over, right? A judge will look at that and say, you can't force him to go to Saudi Arabia. So that was always my point. Like, even if it says that in the contract, right, you cannot force this guy to do that. You can't force him to go to Saudi Arabia, right? Like, it's like if they had North Korea there. You couldn't force him to go there. You know what I mean? So he can go there if he wants, but a judge is going to say this is not a location that you could force an American citizen to go to, right? So you cannot enforce this contract. So that's my point to that. That's all.
Yeah, that's a good point. And that's a good point because the belts do reside in America.
I'm not saying Phil is saying otherwise. I'm just saying that's my point. That's all.
No.
One minute.
Let me say.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, all right. Yeah, well, I agree because right now Ruiz is the champion. We all agree he's the champion. We all agree that the contract maybe needs to be over, even though Eddie Hearn said it's in the contract or whatever. But what we're saying is that the belts do reside in America, and you can't force the American citizen to go somewhere he don't want to go outside the country if he doesn't agree. So I do agree with that 100%. And then the day he still has a say in what goes on in terms of where he wants to fight because he's the champion, right? If it was in America, there's BFT just came on camp. He's ready to go, bro. Like if it was America, like I'd say like, yo, no, if the fight was back in America, I don't think it'd be a problem. But trying to take it into Saudi Arabia and all them other places, and right now you're right, UK does have a lot of problems. I don't think it's a good look. Go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, no. I was just jumping in, and I'm saying that's exactly what I'm saying, right? You can't make him go fight somewhere that's that he doesn't want to go fight. That can be either a hazard or a danger to a potential American, right? I said that in my first statement. Okay, now to just add on to what everybody's talking about. Okay, at the end of the day, as I said before, Andy Ruiz has the leverage because he has the belt. The belts are here in the States, and he should have a say where he wants to fight or not. Now, if he wants to accept more money for going to this place, then yeah, that's a part of him having a say to it. So when everybody jumped on, I don't know what y'all was listening to, and you guys were pretty hyped up, but I'm agreeing with what you guys are saying. I'm just bringing it from a different perspective. You're saying, well, he can't sue. Well, what is he suing for? He can sue for something, okay? Anything that's in that contract, okay, or the last contract. Dan the man said it could be they draw up a new contract, but anything that was in that last contract that rolls over to this one, Eddie Hearn could potentially sue for that. That's all I'm saying. Now, whether he wins, that's a different conversation or not. You understand what I'm saying? So I agree with the things that you guys are saying. I'm just bringing another perspective from it because I hold myself on not being one-sided on situations or scenarios. I look at it from both sides, and that's all I was bringing to the
Yeah. I see what you're saying, Phil. Yeah, you make some good points, brother. I will say this, but I will say another thing. I'll have to repeat my point. If this was such a litigation issue, then Hearn would have done it already. He would have filed it immediately, and we haven't seen that yet. He's been talking. He's been blowing a lot of air about it. It hasn't happened yet. You wonder why he hasn't done it yet, because I think he knows. What's up?
That is the worst case. That is the last thing we got. That's why.
Right, because here's the thing. If you take this to court, you guys spend a lot of resources to get good attorneys involved. And again, Hearn's got the best attorneys. I mean, not Hearn. Heyman's got the best attorneys that money can buy. So we all know he's been litigated before. He's always came out on top. We all remember the Golden Boy in the Top Rank lawsuit that dragged out for over a year, I believe. That went nowhere. So the fact is that I think, again, to my original point, that Heyman and his team knows there's a lot of holes in that original contract that could possibly undermine the Muhammad Ali Act. That's what's going on right now. And that's what's going on right now.
Let's get BFT in,
man.
He's ready to go. I see him steamed up. I see the engines steamed up. Go ahead.
Here's my thing. So to the Phil guy, right? I hear what you're saying. I understand exactly what you're saying, and I get what you're saying, right? But here is the flip side of that. Just like Dan the man just said, that's a year-long lawsuit. All right, that's a if this dude, if this clown is going to sue, he is the dumbest man on earth, because the rematch itself has to happen next. That has to happen next. It's not a rematch in I'm gonna have a rematch now, but I'll have it 4 years down the road. I'm gonna have a couple fights in between, and then I'm gonna fight Andy Ruiz. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have that. I'm gonna do that like that. And then, no, you have to have it next. And I read what the IBF said. It must happen December on or before December 7th. The rematch must happen, which is the reason why they have the the December 7th date for Saudi Arabia in the first damn place. That is the last day that they can have that fight before the IBF strips Andrew Ruiz or forces him to fight Pulev. That's the last day. So I hear what you're saying, Phil. I heard exactly what you're saying, and I understand your point. The problem is that is all bluster and bullshit. He ain't suing nobody. I don't give a fuck what the contract says. He ain't suing anybody because if he does, that's a year long at a minimum. Year long. What you think? Andrew Ruiz ain't gonna fight? You think a court is gonna tell him he can't fight nobody? No. It just says you have to have a rematch with Joshua. Okay, he ain't saying he won't have one. He's not saying he won't. So if Eddie Hearn wants to be a fucking idiot, all this shit is just bluster and talk in the public to stir up some shit and try to force his will. Bro, he ain't suing shit because if he was, he would have did it already. That's one. I don't care if he wins. Winning or losing is irrelevant. If he initiates suing anybody, if they initiate this, just to get into court is going to take a couple of months. Yeah. Just to get into it. Yeah. Then after that, they're going to do some litigation, blah, blah, blah. That's over a year. In the meantime, Andy Ruiz fuck around, fight Pulev, and fuck around and lose. I ain't say anything can happen. He fuck around and lose, then what? Now Anthony Joshua is locked into a rematch with Andy Ruiz with no belts? Get out of here, bro. This is the dumbest shit in the world. This is bluster and filler talk in order to force something on Andrew Ruiz, which ain't happening. And Andrew Ruiz just sitting back, chilling, like, say whatever you want, nigga. We're going to fight where I want to. Because just like Dan the Man said, the rematch is in the original contract, right? A rematch must happen. But that's it. Now it's time to renegotiate where the fucking rematch is going to happen at. It's time to negotiate what the money is, what this is, blah, blah, blah. We got it locked in. There's going to be a rematch. It's locked in. We're fighting again. All right. Nobody's turning down the fight. Blah blah blah. It's locked in. But the negotiations are going in play now. So Andy Ruiz, if you can look at the man's body language, he's looking at every time somebody says something. He was like, "Yeah, all right, whatever. It'll happen here or happen there." What? Okay, no, not doing that. Like people they're so up in the air with this. Oh, you gotta do it. They got this fucking silver spoon in their mouth when it comes to Anthony Joshua, bro. They got this silver spoon in their mouth thinking that he is the God, the end all be all, and wherever he says and does is what everything must happen. Bro, you lost that. You got your ass whipped, nigga. You lost. It is time for you to take a step back, do what Lennox Lewis said, fight a couple motherfuckers in between, build your shit up, and then get back in there. Lo, he's ranked high enough, bro. He's like number 3 or 4 in WBC, number 3 or something in the WBA, number 6 in the IBF. He's ranked high enough to have one fight in between and fight for a title. He can do that, no problem. There is no reason to rush, but like TJ said, right? They are forcing this man to get back in there. They're forcing him to do this. They're pressing this action. If they had his best interest in heart, they have him fight somebody else prior to Andy Ruiz. He can't beat him. Yo, this is for everybody, bro. Anthony Joshua cannot beat Andy Ruiz. He can't beat him. He ain't good enough, bro. His hands are not fast enough. Now, he may hit harder. He may. I don't know. But when he throws one, Andy Ruiz throws 5, bro. He's not good enough. And he don't use his jab. He don't use his range. He don't use his reach. He's trying to slug it out with a guy with faster hands and a better chin. That's a recipe for disaster, bro.
Yo, I saw a channel earlier today say, okay, the guy goes, who the hell does Andy Ruiz think he is?
Hey, who's the champion?
He's the heavyweight champion of the world, bro. That's who he is. What do you mean, who does he think he is? He's got the belts. He doesn't have to tell you anything. All right? What do you mean, who does he think he is? I mean, these guys, like, they don't want him to have any leverage whatsoever. Like, Eddie Hearn controls everything. Like, you know what I mean? He will do, like, they just like that power. They want him to do what Eddie Hearn, pointing his finger, tells him to do. Like, they get a thrill out of that. You know, like, I haven't seen something like this in all my years on YouTube, by the way. These fanatics for a fucking promoter.
A promoter. He has a fan base, Eddie Hearn. Like, guys who talk like that, those are not traditional boxing fans. In fact, in my opinion, those are not even boxing fans. No. You're going around asking, who the hell does Andy Ruiz, stanky ass. He, like you said, he's the heavyweight champion, and he has a voice. Number one, okay. Not only that, I mean, he just got through beating the shit. I mean, he beat, and it's not even like this was a controversial fight. He beat the fucking brakes off that man. He beat his ass bad. And you guys want Eddie Hearn, a Silver Spoon kid, to get more money than Andy Ruiz. It's ridiculous. And you guys want Andy Ruiz to follow Eddie Hearn's tune. The only fighters who are willing to do that are matching. Andy Ruiz is a PBC fighter. He's not a matchroom fighter. He's not Dillian White. He's not Anthony Joshua. Just like you guys wanted Deontay Wilder to sign to the Zone, a failing app. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Who the fuck do you think you are to even question Andy Ruiz? Why don't you get in the ring with him, huh? Let Andy Ruiz put them hands in your ass. I bet you'll think about it different then, won't you?
Yo, bro, you guys are killing me, bro. You guys on fire today. Hey, you guys smash the like button. Do you understand we have like the best channels out here on EJ Boxing Live channel? BFT. We have D-Stars Boxing, Dynamite Boxing, Blood Boxing, Phil Walker has jumped in. And listen, man, we getting it in tonight. And I tell you what, but we're gonna get to the bottom of this. End of the day, we want the best fight and the best. And I don't.
Yes, sir.
I don't believe that, right? I don't believe the other UK guys are gonna be here for long, because at the end of the day, if you're supporting what Eddie Hearn is, like, I don't understand where guys will be talking about people's finances and talking about this PBC fighter, this, that, the other fight. At the end of the day, like the networks, they've always controlled boxing, right? Always controlled boxing. At the end of the day, you go where you can make the most money. That's what it's about. Andy Ruiz is the champion, and people need to show respect. Show respect to that. That's what I gotta say about that, man. Go ahead.
So,
Want to jump in? Go ahead.
I'm gonna say this thing about the Zone, right? For the longest time, like my godfather Blood say, right? For the longest time, people were saying that Deontay Wilder should have signed with the Zone, should have signed with the Zone, should have signed with the Zone. Understand, so I've been trying to tell anybody that'll listen. Anthony Joshua was on a fight-by-fight deal with the Zone. The reason why Deontay Wilder did not sign with the Zone, because they could not guarantee Anthony Joshua. That's the reason why. Now, is Anthony Joshua fighting Andy Ruiz in this second fight on the Zone? No, it's not on the Zone. Oops, it ain't on the Zone, bro. Go look at any other promotion. Tell me where you see showing Andy Ruiz versus Anthony Joshua 2. Show me. So you mean to tell me that Deontay Wilder would have signed to fight Anthony Joshua, right? Signed to fight him on the Zone. Then Anthony Joshua Ruiz got his ass whipped. Now he's not on the Zone. So then what? There's Deontay to an app now. He can't go nowhere else. He's locked in to the Zone with no Anthony Joshua fight. It's funny how don't nobody want to talk about this. It's funny how they want. Oh, he could have had his highest $100 million for 3 fights in the Zone. Two Anthony Joshua fights. Okay, well, Joshua's fighting Andrew Ruiz, and it's not on the Zone. They're doing it on pay-per-view. I want to talk about this now? What we just acting like the Zone just fell off the picture now? Go look at any poster, look at any flyer, look at any billboard. Tell me where you see Clash of the Dunes sponsored by the Zone. You will not see it. It's not there. It don't exist because the Zone ain't airing it. Anthony Joshua was on a fight-by-fight deal with the Zone. It was the dumbest deal in the world for Deontay Wilder to sign that. The dumbest deal in the world. There's no way in hell he should get it. And people like Canelo, right, who's with the Zone now. This guy, I saw an article where it was talking about how his numbers are dropping, his viewership numbers are dropping. Yes, because you took yourself out of the mainstream. You took yourself out of the mainstream, put yourself on an app, bro. These people ain't getting shit. They'll get it just to see you, right? And then when the reoccurring charges have to come in, they don't want this shit year round. They just want to see you. That's the reason why your pay-per-view numbers are so good, because they just want to see you. That's it. They don't give a fuck about what else is going on in fucking the Zone. Nobody cares, bro. They just want to see who they want to see when they want to see them. That's why the numbers spiked for Canelo Jacobs and then floored right after that. Everybody just bolted. Yo, you can't put Deontay Wilder or any of these stars on an app until the app is big, bro. Or if you are going to put it on there, you sign like a Charlo and Canelo, because people want to see that fight. You sign a Wilder and Joshua. You know what I'm saying? You sign Lomachenko and a Tank Davis. You sign fucking Rival and put them on there, and then make them fight to build the network up. You don't just sign one and then beg for the other. That shit will never work, bro. It's detrimental to the app itself. So anybody saying that somebody in a rivalry, right, should sign in an app and the other one shouldn't is the dumbest shit ever, bro. That's like a football team, you know, you're about to fight, you're about to play the Super Bowl, but instead of your whole entire team says, I'm going with motherfucking Showtime. Although the Super Bowl is aired on Fox exclusively. You can't even play each other. It's the dumbest shit in the world, bro. It's the dumbest shit in the world. I'm not too high on his own. I'm not going to shit on him that much. I'm not too high on him. I'm just saying it's shitty business for someone to say that they want Deontay Wilder or anybody to sign to a fucking app when they're already being outed. That's the dumbest shit in the world just for an extra few dollars. You don't know what these guys have in their bank account. You have no clue. Everybody's saying it's first. How do you know? You get your bank slips. The only thing you know what their guaranteed purse is, because that's what's put out in the media. Other than that, you don't know what they make. Just like EJ said, Joshua gets promotional fees from like O'Colly and somebody. There's Bomb Squad promotions. There's motherfucking TMT, all kind of promotions out there to get promotional fees, man down promotions, all kinds of shit. But if you take all that and put it on the app, you're removing revenue from yourself. The dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, 100%, man.
I was saying I agree with you 100% on everything you just said. But in the Zone's defense, though, I will say that I'm not upset with the app. I like the app, and I mean, honestly, I feel like I've got my money's worth just with the fights that they put on since the app's been up. You know, now whether somebody should go
head though, bro. You're
exactly.
You're a hardcore like myself.
So you know, at the end of
where the bread comes from.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like you said, you know, when you put yourself inside of that box, you're potentially taking money away from yourself down the line, you know, and that's just to me, that's just not smart business. I think what the Zone should do is potentially get like middle of the road guys and build their platform like that, and maybe possibly get somebody that's like a diamond in the rough and take stars and build stars. I think the Zone would be good for that. But guys that's already stars that only have their revenue coming in, they have their own promotional companies, it's going to be hard to get those guys unless you give them some astronomical amount of money. So yeah, that's 100%.
Yeah, can I say something? Can I say something on that, Phil? Can I EJ?
Okay. Hold on, Dan. Let me get into it. Listen, I understand what you're saying because let me mute Dan. You get something. That's why I keep muting Dan.
Okay.
Right. All right. So I ain't gonna. Okay, here we go. I ain't gonna lie to you, right? I'm in the UK, and like I usually get the free stream on the network, HBO, ESPN. You know, I put my little link in VIP League, and just plug in that, and I go on the VIP League, and I can watch everything. The Zone is the only one. Is the only app I can't get in. The only way I can get usually is if I go through Sky, or if I go through what's the one? I think it's the other one is Golden Boy if they're streaming it. But other than that, what they've done here, they're basically making people pay for something we watch free anyway. There's no need for them. They're an MMA company. They're just trying to find a niche in the market, and I don't respect them. Right? I don't like them. They're coming on here to see a niche, and Eddie Hearn, and the only reason they got legitimacy is because Eddie Hearn jumped on board for the money, and I don't like it. I understand you getting your free stuff, and you guys are laughing, but the long-term thing, like you guys are pointing out, it affects the fighters. And on top of that, I'm gonna have to go back to the dark days where if I can't watch a live fight, I gotta wait for the magazines, because that's exactly what I used to do. You know, I didn't get the fights yet. I had to wait until the bloody magazines came out each month. Trinidad for Bernard Hopkins, I didn't get that until the magazine came out next month. So I don't mess with the Zone at all. And in England, we got Sky Sports. So why do we need the Zone for? Like, I just don't like the Zone. But go ahead, Dynaman, jump on.
Yeah. I was gonna say though to Phil's point, I get what he's saying. EJ, you got a good point too, because the Zone, since they're a streaming app, they kind of limit your availability to watch other fights in other territories, which is a fucked up thing, to be honest with you, because that's how small their outreach is, or limited the outreach is, to be honest with you. Number one. Number two, let's be real, the money that they've had funded out to these fighters, Canelo Alvarez, Gennady Golovkin, and Anthony Joshua on a fight basis. Who else is there they gave a big contract to? I mean, well, even Danny Jacobs got a big payday out of the Canelo fight, $13.5, close to $15 million. But the bottom line is this: they are bleeding right now. They're losing money on these contracts. Let's be real. Number one. And let's be real. Number two, only way for them to recoup the money they've invested into these fighters, particularly Canelo Alvarez, I'll be honest with you, they're going to have to go pay-per-view. That's the only way they can recoup that money. That's the only way they can entice some of these fighters to come in and take dangerous fights. If you give them a bigger, get a shot of a bigger share, a chance of a bigger lion share. That's the only way. I know that's an unpopular thing for me to say, especially for the zone supporters. If there's any of them left now that Joshua's lost, let's be real. But the fact is that that's the only way they can survive, is that they have to introduce a pay-per-view platform. That's the only way. I just can't see how they can sustain the current model they're in right now. Because let's not forget, when they introduced the $9.99 pricing point, which was good to kind of start things off, but 2 or 3 months down the road, they upped the price to $19.99. Why was that? Why? Why that in 3 months you just launched a new app? You upped the price already. That goes to show that they're bleeding money and they need it. So that's just my thoughts on it. And I think that's the only way they can survive. They got to get the pay-per-view platform in here. But go ahead.
So I'm gonna give it.
No, I was gonna say it goes. Okay.
Oh, so
I was gonna say though, I just think that
they saw somebody in chat that said that the fight is on DAZN. It's not on DAZN. No, I just looked. It's DAZN News. They have DAZN News where they talk about boxing in general. They talk about the rematch with Anthony Joshua Ruiz. They talk about Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder rematch. That's not on DAZN. That's just DAZN News. So don't get twisted thinking that because DAZN News talks about it, that means it's going to be on DAZN. They are not showing Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury rematch on DAZN, but it's also on DAZN News. Don't get the two twisted. If they went on DAZN, it would have it on their poster, DAZN, on their billboard, DAZN. They don't. That is DAZN News. It's not on DAZN. Not on DAZN.
Yeah, that's a good point, BFT, because I can also point out that BT Sport announced the Joshua and Ruiz rematch, and that's not on BT Sport. So there you go.
Let me say a couple of things here really quick. First of all, what is it with the UK? Not everyone, of course, but the UK, a lot of UK channels anyway that go out and scold American channels that what that the zone is good for you guys. The zone is a shit. Well, why don't you take the zone? Well, why? And they don't even have the zone in the UK. You guys don't have the zone. You guys have Sky Sports, bro. But let me educate you guys why the zone is not a good option. Okay, do you guys know that the zone right out of the gate? Okay, half of Americans don't have access to it. Okay, half of America lives in rural America. They can't access the zone. Okay. Because you need internet for that. You need a pretty good internet to stream, all right? And not only that, there's certain areas, like where my brother lives, he can't stream Hulu and all that, okay? Because his internet sucks in his area. So I'm being very generous, saying 50%, very generous. So that's number one. Okay, I don't know how. Like, I'm not gonna lecture you guys on the demographics or the geography, I should say, not demographic, the geography of the UK, all right? Because I don't live there, but I live in the US, okay? I know how it is here, okay? App only cuts at least, this is being generous, half of the potential audience right out of the gate, bro. Right out of the gate, it cuts them off, all right? The zone doubled in price in 6 months. Dan man just mentioned that. That is unprecedented. Okay, no app in the history of apps has doubled in price, right? I mean, Netflix announces a $1 increase and people are losing their shit, right? These guys doubled their price. Why? Because they're paying way too much money and there's not enough subscribers, so they got to make it up with the people that are subscribed, right? That's why they're doubling the price. So I'm just saying, and by the way, I don't know if you're getting your money's worth. You know why? Because I keep hearing this argument. Well, Canelo fought, what is it, 3 times now or 2 times on the zone? How many times is it? 2, 3? But anyway.
2 times.
2 times, yeah. Okay. The Rocky Fielding fight wouldn't have been a pay-per-view. That wouldn't have been a pay-per-view fight. That would have been on HBO. If HBO was still around, that would have been on HBO or on Showtime, regular HBO, just like the Kirkland fight was, just like some other Canelo fight. He would fight once in a while on free, well, not free, but premium television, all right? So that is that. And by the way, the Zone costs just as much as Showtime. All right. So and the cool thing about Showtime, you can get it live in HD on television, and if you want, you can go to the Showtime Anytime app as well and watch it that way as well. You have options. The Zone doesn't give you any options. It's one option, app only, and it has a lot of defects too. It has a lot of problems. It's not a very good app. Okay, they're working on it, but nonetheless, that's all I got to say about that. You guys don't have stop scolding American channels to support, Matchroom and the Zone when you guys don't. Matchroom does business with Sky Sports over there, don't they?
Yeah.
So,
well,
like I just said, that support kind of declined. Blood. I'm sorry, Blood. Real quickly though, I was going to say though, you notice that support has declined. Okay, fair enough, man. Hey, yeah, you notice the support has declined after Joshua lost, so they're not mentioning the Zone anymore after that loss. So I just wanted to point that out right now. So it's kind of like basically, whatever, if any success is tied to Anthony Joshua or Matchroom, then they're gonna ride with it, But when a Fire takes a devastating loss like that, they're not gonna. There's no point for them to support anything because they felt that everything's taken out of him after he got beaten up. So I just wanted to throw that out. But go ahead, Blood.
Yo, not everyone, by the way, before Blood, not everyone's got Sky. Not everyone's got Sky. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead, Blood. So they can't access Zone all the time because they haven't. Not everyone's got Sky. You have to pay for Sky, and then the fights get streamed through. They get obviously through Sky Sports. Sky Sports is the one bloody holding this thing down. If Sky Sports pulled the plug, then where the fuck does the Zone go? Go ahead, Blood, jump on.
Too many fighters. I mean, not. Too many fans over in the UK get too involved in what's going on over here. When they started talking about things such as we need to buy the Zone and this and that, first of all, they don't feature the fighters that are popular over here. And at one time, when it first was announced, Eddie Hearn came out and said, I'm making some big announcement. I'm going to get some fighters to come over here with me. He reached out to all kind of fighters, American fighters. He even tried to reach out to PBC fighters such as the Charlo brothers. You see, he didn't really get anywhere. They listened to him. Apparently, they didn't like the offer that he brought to the table because it has to do with Matchroom Sports. That's all they cared about. And these fans out there who were going around to buy the Zone, I question that from the get-go. I mean, why are you worried about what we're doing over here? You don't even have the Zone yourself. So why are you telling me to buy the Zone? I'll rather just support VIP Sports, First Row Sports, Sport and Stream USA. All of those sites are the sites that I'll support, and I'll get just as good of a picture as I did with the Zone because I bought the Zone, bro. I bought the Zone. I had it for 2 months. Actually, I paid for 3 months because they wouldn't let me get rid of it. I started trying to get rid of it. They made it really difficult for me to get rid of the Zone too. But anyways, I paid them. And right after I paid them, they went on ahead and raised the price. And you still have these clowns over in England telling us that we need to buy the Zone when we live over here in America. We know what other options we have available. We know that we could use free streaming. We know that the Zone is now 4 times as much as the ESPN app, which is ridiculous. I mean, you could get a subscription to HBO and Showtime for cheaper than the Zone. And I had the Zone, and they, it wasn't worth the money even then. And now they've doubled the price. It's damn sure not worth the money. Mm-hmm. But they've been involved with a whole bunch of stuff. Another thing the UK channels do too is they mix up free TV. They like to say something like, "Well, Deontay Wilder was on free TV, and he couldn't have this many sales."
Showtime costs just as much as their pay-per-views, bro.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Showtime is a subscription. That's what they don't understand. It's like listening to these guys talk about stuff like this, and it's unbelievable because some of them will have thousands of people watch their video, and they sound like fucking amateurs. I'm like, how can people listen to this shit? Showtime is not even a subscription channel. What the fuck are these guys talking about? You know what I'm saying? To be over there, oh, well, yeah, he was on Showtime. Oh, he didn't do the sales. And I'm like, what the fuck is these guys talking about over there? You should get the Zone too because Eddie Hearn, he has a new network and a new deal. It's $1 billion. Remember the $1 billion? It's $1 billion deal, Eddie Hearn. It's like, man, shut the fuck up, man. You're not from over here, so shut up. Stop trying to get me to come out my pocket for Eddie Hearn. What kind of boxing fan gonna try to get me to come out my motherfucking pocket for a silver spooner like Eddie Hearn that we don't like, that was using all kind of transatlantic terms and all kind of stupid shit and lying to people and lowballing fighters and all kind of shit, lying every other day. This guy telling a new lie, coming and airing out everybody's business all over social media and trying to downplay Deontay Wilder and telling the fight fans stupid things like, well, yeah, Anthony Joshua did it in 20 fights time, and all that stupid shit, man. No, man, shut the fuck up, man. Don't try to force your ways up on us and try to get us to support Eddie Hearn. These guys are not boxing fans. They're fans of a promoter, and it's sad. We know Don King didn't have no following like that. Neither did Bob Arum. From this I've ever seen a promoter. In fact, he was so comfortable with his Matchroom fan base that he even had a press conference with Eddie Hearn only. Have you ever heard of that? Can you imagine if Don King came up in the 1980s? So I'm having a press conference, and then Don King just come up there talking alone. That shit was, I mean, yeah, I'm having this fight, and the fighters haven't even agreed to it yet. That shit wouldn't have flied, man, and I'm not sure why it's flying now. But it's all good though, bro.
Hey, Blood, he's gonna do a puppet show at his next press conference.
But look though, real quick though, I feel what you're saying, big dog. But me personally, and it's just my own personal opinion, I don't care if Eddie Hearn has anything to do with the zone. See, the way I look at it is, I can't call myself a fan of boxing and not tune in. Or, I mean, look, this is the way I put it to it. I'm subscribed to the Zone. I have Showtime. Okay, I'm a ESPN Plus member. And I'm a member solely because I like to watch the boxing that comes on these platforms. So, me personally, I can't say that I don't support the Zone or I'm upset with the Zone, and at the same time call myself somebody that really enjoys boxing and wants to watch as many good fights as I possibly can. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about what you spend your money on. I mean, now that Game of Thrones is not on HBO, and boxing's not either. I don't have HBO no more. Like, I don't need it, And even when I wasn't in the Game of Thrones, I still had HBO because I watched boxing. That's just what it is. So at the end of the day, I'm going to support the Zone because they have fighters signed to them that I like to watch. And I mean, shit, I'm supporting Showtime.